My boyfriend forgot to pick me up, causing me to be distracted in ballet class, so I made serious mistakes and was criticized and scolded by my teacher. Full of grievances, I fought back to prove myself. The teacher nodded with satisfaction, but will my boyfriend and I finally make up? The lights of the training room buzzed overhead, like a swarm of bees ready to go, and the cold light made people's eyes ache. Just like everything in this place, there was a sense of tit-for-tat suffocation everywhere. The smoke of the spring celebration trials has long been filled with gunpowder. The mirrors embedded in the walls not only expose every flaw, every doubt, and every late dance step, but also reflect the eyes of the dancers around. Everyone is staring at the solo place. I was already sweating, the dampness of the back of my neck mixed with tight anxiety, my hands sweating in my pink satin toe shoes, and even my fingertips trembled uncontrollably. I jumped out of the jet jump, but when I landed, I lost sight. Not a catastrophic mistake, but already dazzling enough. Do it again. Mrs. Loretto's voice was like a blade with ice, which cut through the dead training room. The sound of her walking stick hitting the ground heavily made her heart tight. Don't you have eyes under your feet? Dare to compete for solo dance at this level? I was all over and immediately bounced back to my starting position, my heart beating like it was about to break my chest. I could feel all the eyes in the room nailed to me like searchlights, cryptic glances, undisguised snickers, and the proud radiance of Amanda's mouth, the kind of eyes that were not his own when others were frustrated, more embarrassing than Mrs. Loretto's rebuke. The picture of Taylor forgetting to pick me up is still swirling in my mind. The grievance in my heart mixed with the embarrassment at the moment makes my fingertips tremble even more. I jump again. Another misstep. The deviation is not large. A tumble on the ground, half a minute slower than the beat of the music, a mistake that no one would have noticed except Mrs. Loretto. She turned sharply, and the piano stopped abruptly, leaving a string of harsh, discordant notes. She turned sharply, and the crutch made a harsh sound on the ground, and the piano stopped abruptly, leaving a string of sharp, discordant notes. Penelope Weir. Her eyes scanned me up and down like a scanner, without a trace of temperature, only undisguised disdain. Are you new here? Or is your brain trapped by the door, and even the most basic jet jump can be a mess? I held my feet together, my head held high, my shoulders straight. No, madam. Injured? No, madam. Then you are a scrap that can't help the wall. She sucked heavily, and her cane poked the ground hard, as if to vent her disappointment to me. I don't raise idle people here, let alone absent-minded waste. Spring celebrations don't need a dancer who doesn't even do standard moves. Silence spread in the air. I tried my best to keep my breath steady, my ears buzzing. I've been teaching you for 3 years. She paced quickly along the mirror, the sound of high heels on the ground beating everyone's nerves like a hammer, and the reflection in the mirror followed like a ghost. 3 years. You were 16 when you first got here, right? I took you into the advanced class, thinking that I had picked up a good prospect. What was the result? Now 19, still making such low-level mistakes. You're a full 4 years younger than the rest of the class. Know how rare that is? It is my grace to dance in this room, understand? Understood, madam. Then why are you wasting this grace? Her voice suddenly raised, with hysterical severity. You started dancing when you were 2 years old. After 17 years of training, you didn't seem to understand gravity when you landed. Next week is the spring celebration editions. You dance like you have already given up the solo quota. I tell you, Penelope, either show the standard you deserve or get out of my practice room. My throat tightened and my back was too straight as if it would break at any moment. Want a solo chance? She said. Then make it look worthy of it. Otherwise, I will give the opportunity to those who are less talented than half of you, but twice as self-disciplined as you. Another long silence. She turned to the pianist. Take 5 minutes. All of them. Penelope, sit down. I felt as if I had been drained of all my strength and sat down on the ground, my hands pressed against the cold, dancing glue to cover up their trembling. Mrs. Loretto's scolding is still ringing in my ears, and the picture of Taylor forgetting to pick me up and accompanying other girls to tutoring is clear again. What the hell am I holding on? On the one hand is the ballet dream that I have tried my best to seize, and on the other hand is the love that always makes me feel wronged and lost. This dilemma haunts me like a vine, almost making me breathless. A second later, Mira sat down beside me with her knees on her chest and a soft voice. "What's going on?" I didn't look at her. I just stared straight at myself in the mirror, pale and tight. "You can never go wrong with this kind of action," she said. "Last fall at all-night training, you could dance with your eyes closed. What's going on?" I breathed out a sigh of relief slowly, trying to press down the dampness in my eyes. My voice was hard to hide, tired. Ty didn't pick me up after class. I stood in the cold wind and waited for him for 20 minutes, but finally learned from my classmates that he was helping other girls with tutoring and had already left the matter of picking me up out of the sky. I had to run 6 blocks and change clothes in the cold corridor to get here on time. She blinked. "Tyler?" I nodded, and my grievances surged up. I waited for about 20 minutes, but he was helping other girls with tutoring and forgot about it. I had to run 6 blocks, out of breath against the cold wind, and change clothes in the hallway to get here on time. This is the 5th time. Every time he has an excuse, every time I choose to believe, but I am really tired. Mira curled her lip. "Is this the 4th time?" "The 5th time." She didn't say break up with him, but those 3 words were written all over her face. "He apologized," I added, with a tone of bitterness that I didn't even notice. "He said he was just distracted, not intentional." But I looked at the apology message he sent, and my heart was sour and astringent. I even began to wonder whether he really took my affairs to heart, whether this relationship was just me exerting myself from the beginning. "Gone." Mira raised her voice. "During the critical week of your celebration trials?" I shook my head, holding my knees tighter, my cheeks pressed against my cold knees. "Maybe. On one side is the ballet dream that I desperately want to seize, and on the other side is the love that I can't bear to let go. The pulling on both sides makes me breathless. But I can't just admit defeat. The solo place is my 17 years of hard work. I can't let my efforts go down the drain because of him. I will adjust it, definitely." She was silent for a moment, then bumped me with her shoulder. "It better be so. Amanda is already rehearsing her acceptance speech in her heart." I snorted and laughed in a low voice. But the tightness of the chest did not dissipate. When Mrs. Loretto returned to the training room, she didn't even look at me. She only said, "Start from scratch." I stood up. Turning to the mirror again, I took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. Staring at myself in the mirror, angular cheekbones, tight jawline, twitching muscles under light-colored tight dancing clothes, and red blood streaks in the eyes, I told myself over and over again in my heart, "Penelope, don't think about it. Now there is only dancing." The grievances brought by Taylor and the confusion and love are all pressed into the deepest part of my heart. At the moment, I only dance for myself. I am familiar with this dance and have already integrated it into bone and blood. This dance should have belonged to me. The music sounded. I moved up. Everything faded away. The dancers in the same class, the soreness of their backs, the tingling in Mrs. Loretto's words. My legs stretched cleanly and my arms ran through the air, flowing like water. The spine is tall and straight, the core is tight, and the fingertips are soft and vibrant. The rhythm of music flows in every inch of my skin. Rotate, land, breathe smoothly. Jet jumps, pirouette spins, stands half tiptoe. Flawless. My shadow in the mirror danced side by side with me, precise and sharp, but I did not look at it. I was immersed in the steps, no longer praying for the right moves, but knowing exactly how flawless every move was. Every beat, every flick of the wrist, the expression is always calm and wave-free, but the heart is burning with flame. The last movement took me to the center of the stage, slowly descending from the arabesque to freeze in the final pose. I paused steadily, gracefully, as light as weightless. I let out a breath, and then there was silence. Mrs. Loretto stood in the corner of the room, looking hard to distinguish. I am waiting for something: criticism, correction, or a longer silence. However, she only gave a very reluctant nod. That's all. No applause, no praise. But this nod was as loud as thunder to me. A warmth welled up in my chest, and a smile uncontrollably blossomed on my face. That nod means I made it, means I played well enough. I sat down again, much slower, the adrenaline still rushing through my limbs. Mira grinned at me. It's amazing. That was breathtaking. Is it? I pretended to drink water, disguising my trembling hands. You just like a different person, like in the movie The Protagonist. You have completely conquered this dance. I smiled more brightly. I know. It's not arrogance or even relief. It's a calmer mood, a recognition earned on its own. In those few seconds, I didn't think about Taylor, I didn't think about being 19 years old, and I didn't think about how desperately I was trying to get here. I only think about the last note of the music and the lingering feeling when I interpret it with my whole body. I need no praise. No need for applause either. I just need to dance. The first breath out of the training room always carries a slight sense of freedom. The air was warmer than it had been in the past few months, and the winter's bitterness was finally dissipating, and the air was filled with dirt and early grass. As I walked and moved my shoulder, there was a tingling in my right shoulder too long under Mrs. Loretto's gaze. Mira came up to me and tied her sweatshirt tighter around her waist. I don't know about you, she said, but I felt like I was hit by a truck full of ballet shoes. I hissed, I'm like you. My thighs are already thinking about escaping my body. My soul was out of my body in the second round of slow dance. Mira complained, I'm glad I'm not going to attend the spring festival selection, otherwise I'd have to really care. I glanced at her. I still don't understand. You should try. She gave me a helpless and indifferent look. Didn't you see it today? I almost fell while practicing with the pole, and I didn't move much at all. You're not that bad. I am so bad. It doesn't matter. I have accepted the fact that I am very ordinary. I slowed down and adjusted my backpack strap. You are not ordinary. Your foundation is very solid, but you are not willing to force yourself. I know. She was not angry. That's why it's good. There's no pressure and it won't collapse. I rubbed my shoulders again, and there was a brief silence between the two of them. Mira looked at me. But you are different. Even when you made a mistake just now, you danced better than the rest of us. I shook my head. You flatter me too much. I have not. You just dancing differently, as if the whole stage belongs to you alone. I don't know how to respond to such a compliment. Praise always makes me feel very uncomfortable, too soft, like holding something in my hand that I don't know how to put it. I shrugged. Mrs. Loretto doesn't think so. In the end, she must have approved of you. It was also after she criticized me for nothing in front of the whole class. Mira cocked her head and mused. She is very strict, but she only does this to those she thinks have potential. I looked up at the sky, the characteristic light blue of evening, with a hint of coolness still at the edges. The sidewalks were mottled with melting snow and scattered sunshine, but the air was already smells of spring. Everything was still a little bleak, but it was already much softer and lighter. We stopped at the side of the road. The red light was still flashing. I am really not in good condition today, I said softly. I can feel it. Because of Tyler? I paused. Well, wanna talk? He forgot to pick me up after class again. She exhaled a long breath. Did he apologize? He said he was helping people with their lessons. Mira picked her eyebrows and did not speak. I'm not counting on him to change his life for me, I added, although I didn't need to explain it to her. It's just, it would be nice to remember my things. I understand, she said, but maybe what you need is that he can understand you. I did not answer. As we walked past the coffee shop and the flower shop with fake snow in the window, silence enveloped us again. I breathed slowly and steadily, trying to dissipate the depression in my chest. But I ended up jumping. I finally spoke.
Mira looked at me.
You did it. The last jump. Very right. It is the most right one in recent times. I can see that you have found your own state again. Not far ahead was the corner bakery, and Mira pointed at it and said, Come on, we should eat something soft and full of carbohydrates to treat ourselves. Before the door was pushed, the fragrance wafted over the smell of vanilla, sugar, and butter, warm and healing. We placed the order without thinking. She ordered the usual cinnamon roll, and I chose a chocolate cupcake with a thick whipped cream swirl. It looks pompous, but I just want to eat it. We sat by the window and fell silent again. The people outside were in a hurry, in a trance, and noisy. But here, it all seems so far away. I don't know what's wrong with me. I finally spoke, so low that only Mira could hear me. She did not show a surprised expression. You have no problem. I just feel... I seem to be trying to maintain balance, but the ground under my feet has been shaking. You're just too tired. Everyone is tired. Yes, she said, but not everyone is carrying the weight of pursuing perfection at the same time. I broke off a small piece of cake and rubbed it between my fingers. I think if I relax for a second, I will be overtaken by others. You won't. How do you know? She looked at me, her eyes as if to say this is obvious. Because you are already in front of everyone. This sentence made me silent for a long time. We ate the dessert slowly, without a hint of haste. Only the pain of the body, the comfort of sugar, and the relief of another lesson and another day. When we finally walked out of the bakery, the sun had sunk and the golden glow had softened, but the air was still warmer than it had been in weeks. I took a deep breath, as if I had won the warmth myself. The body is aching everywhere, the shoulders are throbbing, and the thighs are already a harbinger of tomorrow's sharp pain. But I still walk steadily. Today I jumped. Maybe that's enough. Mira walked to her neighborhood, waved at me sleepily, chanting to eat ramen noodles and take a bath, and said that if she didn't send me a message later, let me think she was swallowed by the mattress. I laughed and walked on. This is the first time I have taken out my mobile phone since before class. I was stunned by the instant influx of news. 12 texts from Tyler. Ty, 4:52 p.m. Sorry. Ty, 4:54 p.m. I'm really too bad. Ty, 4:55 p.m. I'm completely distracted. Zoe needs to help her with her chemistry. And then just. Ty, 4:55 p.m. Just forget. Ty, 5 p.m. I'm an idiot. Ty, 5:03 p.m. Please let me make it up to you. Ty, 5:04 p.m. You are probably still in class now. Ty, 5:08 p.m. I swear I'll never forget it again. Ty, 5:09 p.m. Don't be mad at me, okay? Ty, 5:15 p.m. I love you. Ty, 5 p.m. 15 super love you. I stopped my steps. The heart softened uncontrollably, and I touched the screen lightly with my fingers. He did forget, yes. But he cares about me, always has. Even if he messes up, he still cares. Tyler was never perfect, but he never made me feel unloved. To be honest, it doesn't matter if you run 6 blocks today. I prefer to choose him over others. When I turned the corner and came to the street where I lived, I froze. He sat on the porch. On my porch. His hoodie was pulled low, covering his eyes, and he had a paper bag on his leg. He was swiping his cell phone, probably checking for the 100th time to see if I had returned the message. I couldn't help laughing. Hey, I said. He jerked his head up and almost jumped to his feet. Penny. He walked toward me, a paper bag in one hand, his face covered with guilt. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to. I helped Zoe with her tutoring and suddenly forgot the time. When I looked at my watch, I was, oh my God, I was going crazy. Ty. I was supposed to pick you up. I put it on the calendar and even set a reminder, and I ended up ignoring it like a complete idiot. I smiled and put my arm around his waist and hugged him tightly. Ty, it's okay. He stepped back a little and looked me in the eye. Are you really not angry? Well, it's all right. Aren't you here now? He handed over the paper bag. I bought you your favorite sandwich, which is a little strange health style with avocado and sprouts or something. I looked into the bag, and it wasn't really the flavor I would have picked now, but it was something I mentioned a long time ago. Very silly, but very much like his style. It's perfect, I said. He breathed out a sigh of relief and kissed me quickly, softly, with a familiar temperature. Wake up and send me a message? He said. Of course. He shook my hand tightly and walked down the steps. I watched him walk across the street into his house, the third house next door. I held the sandwich to my chest, and the corners of my mouth rose uncontrollably. Because I love him. Having him there is enough.